Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. We're excited you're with us. We're going to be going over the building blocks for paid search success. My name is Jacob Ernstein.
And I'm Ryan Noonan.
We are search marketing specialists here at Volusion. And just a little bit about the team that we actually work on. We are part of Volusion's in-house client services team, meaning we work with Volusion clients on a day-to-day basis to develop paid advertising strategies across multiple channels. Everyone on our team is certified professionals, meaning we're certified in AdWords, analytics, search, display, shopping, and we are a Google partner. That just means we are able to have contact with Google and kind of go into some in-depth strategies if we have problems or need a little bit secondhand look at an account.
So thank you, Jacob, for that introduction, and thank you guys for joining us today. You guys are in for a real treat. We're going to be going over a lot of paid advertising stuff, showing ads all over the internet, right in front of your customers, and you guys are getting all this information for free. So pat yourselves on the back, you're making a smart choice. And without further ado, let's go ahead and just dive right into the agenda for the webinar because we've got a lot to cover. So we're going to be going over an overview of paid search. So what is paid search? How does it all work? How does budget factor into the mix? What are the benefits of running paid search campaigns? We're also going to go over setting realistic goals. So it's important to not be deterred by a lack of sales early into the process. You're going to want to keep your eye on some other data. Also, paid search on Google and Bing. So we'll cover each of these search engines, and we're going to talk about some of the similarities and differences between the two. Also, the display network, we'll talk about what this is and how it differs from the search network, and how you can best utilize it. Then we'll dive into comparison shopping feeds. So we'll describe what these are and how they are different than traditional paid search campaigns. And finally, we'll break down how to succeed with social media advertising. And also, if you guys do have any questions at any point during the webinar, please do submit them. We'll get to as many as we can at the conclusion of the presentation. So now that we've gone over this huge agenda of things, let's tackle the first topic and often asked question, what is paid search? So at its most basic level, paid search is paying to place ads in front of customers who are interested in the things you sell or the services you offer. Now, you may also hear it referred to as PPC, and we're going to use Google a lot for examples in this webinar, but it's important to keep in mind that the same general structure and concept of PPC or paid search applies to Facebook, Bing, or any other channel you would pay to place ads on the internet. Now, as for who you pay for these ads, that depends on where you want them to show up. So if you want them to show up on Google, the ad money is paid to Google. If you want them to show up on Facebook, it's paid to Facebook, and so on and so forth. So if we take a look at the example Google search for women's leather boots, you can see the 3 links at the top of the page and the 5 on the right are all paid search ads. You can see the yellow ad symbol, which differentiates these ads from the organic listings below. And for almost any search you do on a search engine, you can expect these top spots to be ads.
Exactly right, Ryan. And the reason for this is that paid search ads bring immediate, highly qualified customers to your site. When set up and managed properly, paid search campaigns can be an extremely useful and valuable form of advertising for your business. You can control how much you want to spend, which customers you want to target, and analyze useful data as to what those customers do when they get to your website.
So as Jacob said, while you do pay for those customers, you get them to your site immediately, and that immediate data is just one of the many benefits of paid search. So let's take a look at some more benefits for the different paid advertising platforms we're going to be discussing throughout the webinar. So the almighty giant that is Google is the largest search engine by a substantial margin and will give you the biggest reach to customers searching for your products. It's also a great platform for e-commerce stores. So you can show text ads, image ads, and video ads across the search network and other popular sites that are opted into Google's display network, which we're going to talk more about later in the webinar. By running Bing ads, you're able to show up for people searching on Yahoo, so we're going to discuss these two together. Bing and Yahoo are the 3rd or 2nd largest search engine, depending on how you classify YouTube, as YouTube is owned by Google and may or may not be a search engine, depending on how you use YouTube. Now, Bing has many of the same features as Google, but some of Bing's benefits include a less competitive advertising space and reaching a different set of customers who don't use Google. And then there's Facebook. While people might not actively be searching for things to buy on a social network, they're still very qualified customers, and you can target them directly. Showing a Facebook ad to raise awareness for your business or to promote specific products is a great step to growing your business. They may discover you through that Facebook ad, like your page or your site, and then come back to buy at a later time. So when it comes to benefits of paid advertising, there are tons. Now the next step is setting goals to help measure your success. So with an e-commerce store, we know the ultimate goal is to get sales. That's what we all want. But when it comes to paid search, it's important to set other goals that can put you on track to that ultimate goal. It's great to see sales early into a paid search campaign, but take some time to analyze other measurable statistics, which you can view by setting up your site with Google Analytics and linking it to your Google AdWords account.
That's right. So there really is a wealth of data in Google Analytics. So you're going to want to take time to familiarize yourself with the different metrics available. Take a look at bounce rate. What percentage of people leave the site after landing on the page? How do the search numbers compare to the overall site numbers or the organic numbers? Set a goal there to work towards a certain percentage, and as the keyword data comes in, you can begin pausing or altering keywords that spend money and have no sales and high bounce rates. Time in site and pages per visit are also extremely useful statistics in Google Analytics. You can see how many pages customers visit for the keywords that bring them to the site, and you can see how long customers stay on your site for those same keywords. Keep these attributes in mind in addition to bounce rates and several other metrics available in Google Analytics, and then set goals to work towards achieving good numbers. The lower your bounce rates, the more pages your customers interact with, and the more time they spend on your site, the more likely they are to make a purchase.
And Jacob's exactly right. There's just a ton of data in Google Analytics, so you're going to make sure you look around in there. And also, setting these type of goals will help keep you more involved and more in tune to what's going on with your customers. So as you use that data in Google Analytics to make educational changes to your paid search campaigns, you'll put yourself in the best position as possible to get as many sales as you can. So along with these goals, you're going to want to follow a time frame to measure your success. So this time frame depends on the amount of traffic you bring to your site, and that is done through your campaign budget.
So this is one of the biggest questions that we get, and one of the biggest things you're going to want to consider when setting up your campaign, and that is your budget. This is a question we get all the time, and there's a lot of different things you should consider when kind of looking at your initial budget. But you should know that budgets are flexible and can be quickly changed.
And so your budget's going to determine how often your ads will show, and in turn, how many customers you're going to bring to your site. So when getting started, it's best to figure out how much you're comfortable spending per month on advertising, and then allocate that money on a daily basis to campaigns targeting the areas of your store that you want to promote the most. For example, these could be your highest margin products, or maybe some seasonal items, or a new line that you just added to your site. So you can set up campaigns targeting these exact things and then set the budget at whatever amount you want. And as we mentioned in the previous slide, the budget is a major determinant for your goal time frame. So to make beneficial changes to your campaigns, you need a lot of customers to click on your ads. Now with an unlimited daily budget, you get tons of visitors extremely quickly, but not all of us have Walmart's or Target's daily budget, so take this in mind before you begin optimizing. Let the number of visits to your site build up to a reasonable number before making drastic changes to your campaign, and depending on your daily budget, this could be as early as a few days or closer to a few weeks. So if we take a closer look at the daily budget as shown in our screenshot here in the slide, this is where you put the amount you're comfortable spending per day. Now many of our clients start with about $500 a month, so if you decide to start there, you would take that $500 divided by 30 days for the month, and that comes to about $1,750 per day. So you enter that into the budget column as shown.
And Ryan went over a lot of things, but just a couple other things to consider. Budgets are flexible, so you can increase or decrease them at any time. There's no restrictions around that. So if the sales are pouring in, or it's around the holidays or a really good season for your business, you can raise the budget immediately, and the same holds true for slower times of the year. Also, Google allows you to spend about 20% more than your daily budget. So keep that in mind. If you have, for instance, if you have a $20 daily budget, you could spend around $24.
So now I know we've covered a lot of stuff here, and if you guys have any questions or you're just joining the webinar, maybe you're running a little late, that's fine. Just please make sure you do submit those questions. We're going to address as many as we can at the conclusion of the webinar, so keep them coming. And before we get into the best practices for building out these campaigns, which is probably why most of you guys are here, let's just take a quick visual look at the two major search engines. So you can see from our search for Nike running shoes, we have Bing on the left there and Google on the right, and you can see what the search engine results pages look like. So Bing has the shopping feeds ads on the right and the text ads on top, whereas Google has the shopping feeds ads in the center above the text ads. Now each search can potentially change what the page will look like, so things change very often, but for the most part, the two search engines are very similar. Just a few quick facts to note. According to comscore.com, in 2014, Google had about 68% market share, and Bing and Yahoo had about 28%, although some random surveys conducted during that same year project Google's numbers to be closer to 80%. So the main takeaway is Google pretty much dominates the market when it comes to searching the web, so definitely don't leave them out of your mix when you're setting up advertising on the internet.
So that's going to kind of wrap up an introduction to a few things. Next, we're going to kind of start looking at what accounts and campaigns look like when you're building out successful campaigns and the structure of these. So this is a kind of graphic we put together that kind of breaks down the structure of a paid search account. Kind of using Google as an example, you'll set up your AdWords account by logging into Google AdWords with your Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, you can create one during the process. Once you create the account, you will then set up your first campaign. The campaign will be the highest level structure. At the campaign level, you will pick which locations, networks, and languages you want to target. When you're building the campaign, make sure to keep a very close eye on all of these settings. If you plan to run a standard text ads, select it as search network only. The same holds true for locations and language. It's not in your best interest to show ads to all countries and all language if your market is only in English-speaking customers in the United States or Canada. Setting things up correctly now will ensure you don't waste your budget on customers who are outside of your reach.
And Jacob's spot on there. You certainly don't want to waste budget, and so make sure you go through those campaign settings and really choose the correct languages and areas you want to target so that you don't spend money where you don't have to. And we're going to bring up budget again here because it's extremely important. And as we stated earlier, the budget is set at the campaign level. And when you set a budget, it doesn't mean that the campaign will always reach that budget. It simply lets Google or Facebook or Bing know that that's the most you're willing to spend. And also remember not to stress out when you set your budget, because you can increase it or decrease it at any time. So you don't have to worry if it's too high or too low. It can always be changed. But most importantly with budget, it's wise to start small and work your way up. So create several different campaigns for multiple areas of your store. See which items sell well and which don't. And once you get all this important data, then you can start altering your budget accordingly.
And Ryan's right. When starting, it's best to start with a very specific area of your site or a specific line of products, and then sort of build upwards. What we kind of recommend when we're working with clients is start with your top performing or top margin products. This will give you a good kind of ground base to work downwards from. So just kind of start at a specific level and work backwards in a way. So let's take a look at the account structure just below campaigns, which are your ad groups. Ad groups are created within the campaign, and the idea is to keep them closely related to the theme of that campaign, if you can. In our Nike shoe example, you can see that we've broken the ad groups into Nike running shoes and Nike training shoes. Some other ad groups we could put in this campaign might be Nike bowling shoes or Nike golf shoes. All of these ad groups would fit nicely with our general theme of Nike shoes. So whatever industry you're in, think about ways to build out your campaigns like this. Maybe you sell gift baskets, so you could have an ad group for baby boy gift baskets and baby girl gift baskets. Or if you sell jewelry, you can have a campaign for necklaces and then break the ad groups into the different brands of necklaces that you carry. This will keep everything organized and help you create effective keyword lists and relative text ads. Also, within ad groups, you can set your bids, which will extend to the keywords within that ad group. Also, at the ad group level, you can increase or decrease bids for mobile devices. So if you want to advertise more competitively on mobile phones, you could increase your bid just for when your ads show up on mobile phones, Or if you'd rather show ads just on desktops and tablets, you could decrease the bids to not show on mobile phones.
And Jacob's exactly right there. With all the different devices out there, it's great to have that bid flexibility to be able to show up where you want to and control how much you want to spend. So those are all definitely great things to consider. A lot of good features there. And we talked a lot about keywords and bids and ads, so we're going to go ahead and break those down a little bit more in our next slide. So you can see the keywords here. We have them highlighted in purple on the slide. And the keywords are going to be the backbone of your campaign. So they're what you put into your ad groups and what terms you want your ads to show up for. So staying with our Nike example, you can see that we've included very specific keywords in each ad group. The Nike running shoes ad group has keywords below with variations of Nike running shoes, and the same is true of our Nike training shoes ad group. These are good keywords because they closely relate to the items we'd be selling in those ad groups. So as you can see from the chart below, we've included some more examples of good and bad keywords. The variations of the Nike running shoes are good, whereas the sort of the more broad, just running shoes of any kind terms are bad. So think of it like this. Who would be a more qualified customer for your Nike running shoes ad group? Someone searching for just running shoes of any kind, or someone searching for a variation of Nike running shoes. So whenever possible, it's best to be as specific as you can with your keywords, and the more specific you can be, the better quality of customer you can bring to your site.
That's right. So you want to add, have as targeted keywords as you can. But another thing you should definitely do is add in negative keywords. These are words you don't want your ads to show up for. So maybe people searching for used items or reviews of the items or searching for coupon codes of the items. Having a robust negative keyword list can save you from those less qualified customers.
So let's go ahead and jump in to a little more information about keywords.
So there are 4 different types of keywords you should be aware of. We've kind of highlighted them there on the slide. And what we recommend, green, you might consider with caution, and red, you shouldn't try those starting off at least. So exact match, these have the brackets on either side of the keyword. And the keyword that triggers the ad has to be typed in exactly as they are. Phrase match, these have quotations on either side, and the keyword that triggers the ads can have text either before or after the phrase you are targeting. Broad match modified, these have the plus signs before each word and signify that the specific word or words must be used, but they can be in any order. And then there's broad match. We don't recommend using this, as broad match keywords can show up when customers type in searches that may not even match those keywords that you are targeting.
And Jacob's exactly right there. For example, if you have a broad match keyword of baby gift baskets, it's possible that your baby gift basket ad could show up if someone typed in just gifts, or gifts for mom, or gift cards. Or going back to our Nike example, if someone types in Nike running shoes, it's even possible that a broad term like that could show up if someone types in the CEO of Nike. So bottom line, you want to avoid broad match and just use broad modified match if you want to get the most out of your keywords. And we mentioned that you can set bids at the ad group level, but you can also set bids at the keyword level. Now remember, the bids are the most you're willing to pay per click for a keyword or a group of keywords. And we recommend setting these bids at the keyword level when you have enough data because it gives you the most control. And as for where to start your bids, type your keywords into Google's Keyword Planner located within the Tools section of AdWords. It will give you the bid estimates for the keywords you type in and other similarly related keywords. So we've gone through keywords here and ad groups and campaigns and the structure for all those, and now we're going to dive into the all-important ads. So the ads are generally the last thing you work on in your AdWords account. So the good news is that once you have things structured as we've shown in the previous few slides, writing these ads will be easy and fun. So the main goal with your ads should be to make the item you sell or the service you offer as clear to the customer as possible. Now, by having tightly defined ad groups and keywords, you'll know the exact searches that can trigger your ads. So with that in mind, you can write them accordingly. So if we take a look at our Nike example again and take a look at the Nike ad in this slide, we know that our ad is going to show up when someone searches for Nike running shoes. So we want to make sure we include that keyword in the headline of the ad and even test out some ads that have that keyword in the body as well. And you can see we've even included the price here, so a customer knows exactly what to expect when clicking on that ad and then landing on the page.
And including the keywords that you're targeting in the ad is considered a best practice. That's kind of why Ryan's really emphasizing it, because when the ad shows on the search engine, that keyword will be bolded, just kind of allowing it to pop a little bit more on the page. Some other things you should consider when writing ads: there are character limits, and Google will show you these limits in AdWords, but they are 25 characters for the headline and 35 characters for each description line. So while you are limited, you can kind of still take that as an opportunity to kind of create a little bit of personality for your brand if you can. So, but let's take a look at the ad for MacBook Pros on the page, as it contains a lot of ad extensions. These are additional items you can tack onto your ads to make them look nicer and advertise more about the searched item or your business. We're going to start with the ratings. These appear organically in the ad as you receive more reviews from the Google My Business page. So if you have a Google My Business page up and people are reviewing your store and have that linked to your AdWords account, Google kind of naturally assert these into the ads. Next are the call-out extensions. These give advertisers the option to include more information about the products on your site or promotions you may be offering. These are the free iLife and iWork apps, 13 or 15-inch Retina display options. So you could kind of change that text fittingly for the ad. Below that are the phone number and address included to make it easier for the customer to find the physical store or contact you directly. And under the ad, you see 3 separate links or site link extensions. These extensions can link to different areas of the store and give the advertiser the opportunity to drive traffic to related areas of your store within that same ad.
And so Jacob's exactly right. These ad extensions are a great thing. They're a little bit more of an advanced feature, but we do recommend them as they make your ad look nicer and take up a lot more space on the search page, and they give a lot more information. So definitely great things to use. And we also have one question coming in here about ads. It's can I set up a campaign that displays ads on just weekends if we are a B2B site? And yes, when you are setting up campaigns and ad groups, you do have the ability to set up ad scheduling. So you can just set those ads to run at whatever days of the week or weekend that you like, and whatever times as well. So that is definitely doable. And now that we've covered the structure of paid advertising accounts, we've gone over keywords and ads and ad groups and campaigns and budget. We're going to go ahead and dive into remarketing, and that would be continuing to advertise to people after they leave your site.
Yeah, so remarketing, it works. Remarketing is a really powerful tool that allows you to show ads to visitors who have already visited your website but have left. And there are numerous reasons to use remarketing in your marketing mix, but here are some really great reasons to consider. It allows you to stay top of mind. Remarketing helps you continuously engage your visitors wherever they may be searching around the web. It's also great for big items that are really expensive and may have long buying cycles. And it's one of the best ways to stay ahead of your competitors. If a customer goes to 4 different furniture websites and you're the one who is remarketing to them, you're going to have the edge there, as you're going to be on the top of their kind of list in mind as they're searching around.
That's a great example, Jacob. I know those big purchase items, they're great to continuously follow people on the web. I've gotten followed around a lot of times with ads like that, and they definitely work. So additionally, you can engage with your most valuable customers with remarketing. So you can show specific messages in ads to people who have already purchased from your site. So if you want to reward those loyal customers with a discount ad to get them to come back and make another purchase in the future, that is also an option with remarketing.
Yeah, you can really create kind of a segmented list with remarketing and advertise to different customers as they do different things on your site, which is awesome. And finally, remarketing is also really great because the display network cost per clicks are lower generally than the search network. So you won't pay an arm and a leg to get that customer back to your site. Just another reason remarketing is so great.
And you can see we have a little ad on the phone here in the slide at the top. And that could be an example of what an ad might look like if you're on a mobile device and it's kind of following you around.
So kind of how to get set up with remarketing. To set up a remarketing campaign, you will need to add the remarketing script to your website. You can find this in Google AdWords as part of the shared library section. Once you have set up the remarketing tag correctly, we recommend downloading the Tag Assistant app as part of the Google App Store. This will allow you to check to make sure you have your remarketing tag set up correctly or any other scripts you have set up from Google. We have included a link in this slide. You won't be able to click on it right now, but once it is on the Volusion blog, you'll be able to kind of link directly to that.
And after you get that tag set up correctly and verify that it's on there, then you're going to want to start making your remarketing lists. So as we kind of mentioned, a remarketing list is a group of people who have completed a certain action on your website. So for instance, you can start by creating a remarketing list for all visitors, or you can create more specific lists for people who have dropped off in the purchase process or visited certain category pages or product pages. You have tons of flexibility, and having these different lists really gives you more options of what ads you're going to show them.
Additionally, if you'd like, you can exclude ads from certain categories or sites from showing on the display tab. One thing you should really keep in mind is when setting up your list, it needs to be done early. Remarketing list needs to have at least 100 people before they're eligible to run on the display network. And depending on the amount of traffic you get to your site, this can take a little while. So it's best to plan early so you can grow your list with plenty of time to spare.
And you guys are asking a ton of good questions. Keep them coming in. We're going to get to as many as we can at the end of the webinar, or if we can find times to kind of squeeze them in during, we'll do that as well. And going on to the next portion of your marketing, so once you have it set up, you have the tag in place, you've got the list created, then the all-important step is going to be creating the remarketing ads. So if you're able, it's best to work with a professional designer, as you'll want the best ads possible to appear before your customers across the display network. So we have Volusion's in-house design team here create ads for our clients to ensure they look immaculate. And you're also going to want to keep in mind when designing your ads that you want the customers who see your ads to quickly recognize your brand and your store and realize they've been there before. So create as targeted ads as possible. Now, while this may not always be feasible, it is a best practice. And what we mean by this is to tailor your remarketing ads to your marketing lists. So for instance, design shoe ads for customers who have visited the shoe category page, or target your event and shopping cart lists with promotional offers or coupon code ads. I know when I'm shopping around and I put something in my cart from a site, but I don't complete the purchase, if I see a coupon code ad following me around the web, I come back to that site and buy more often than not.
So that's right, and there's a lot of different things you should consider when remarketing, but one thing you should definitely do is make sure to include a clear call to action in your ad, such as a Shop Now button, as the example we have on the screen. This is going to help draw your customer to the eye. When designing the ad, Google does have preset sizes that you have to work within, so make sure you keep the file size of the ad under 150 kilobyte. Now you're going to want to know how your campaign is performing. Unlike a traditional search campaign, you're not going to be looking for a majority of your conversions as direct conversions, but rather as view-through conversions. A view-through conversion is when someone sees the ad but doesn't click on it and instead comes back through another channel, such as directly entering your website into the URL, searching for you organically, and comes back through that way. The great thing about this is that you're not going to be charged since the ad was not clicked on, but you can still measure the success of the ads, as Google will show a view-through conversion triggered. You will not be able to see the amount of revenue generated per view-through conversion. However, what we recommend is use the average order value of your store as a placeholder for the revenue generated for your view-through conversion.
So that's definitely correct, and view-through conversions and conversions are great things to look at with remarketing, as well as a ton of the specific features we've listed and the ability you have to target certain lists of audiences and customers that have been to your site and done actions. So really a lot of options there. Definitely something you're going to explore when doing that.
So I'm gonna quickly answer a question that I'm seeing. A lot of us find remarketing kind of annoying. Is there a way to avoid this negative reaction? What I would say is that poorly managed remarketing list may be that you are showing the ad too much. You can set thresholds for how long the list is going to show for. So if you are targeting all visitors, you might want to only show that for a week. And then people who got all the way to the shopping cart, you may want to show that for a little bit longer period, but still manage the amount of times they see the ad. So there's really kind of more advanced features you can look into when creating those marketing lists to make it a little bit more manageable so you're not overwhelming your customers as they search across the web. That's a really good question, and I know I've had clients who kind of are worried about that when we kind of recommend remarketing campaigns.
It is a great question, and as Jacob said, there are ways to sort of counter it. And so that covers remarketing. You know, we've talked a lot about that, and we've also talked a lot about the display network. And so we're going to go ahead and break that down in a little bit more detail as to what all is going on there. And remember, you guys are having great questions, so please do keep them coming in. We will get to as many as we can. So without further ado, let's dive into the display network.
So the display network is a group of more than 2 million publisher and content site that reaches 90% of the web. It's huge. These sites have enabled advertisers like you to reach customers across the web. Similar to remarketing, the display network targets to your potential customers as they browse across the web. Unlike remarketing, you can target customers that have not visited your store, but instead by targeting by demographic information, the category of the website, or you can even choose specific websites you would like your ads to show up on. Just some examples of sites that are on the display network are Spotify, NewYorkTimes.com, NFL.com, as well as YouTube.com, in addition to millions of much smaller niche blogs, content sites.
He's right, there are tons of sites on there, and as you can see from our little graphic in the slide here, we have an image over there on the right, and this is what it could look like on like an NFL type page, and we're going to go ahead and focus in on it here so you guys can see. I got the call to action there. So, this is what it might look like on a site.
So, you're probably thinking, why should you advertise on the display network? It's a great opportunity to introduce new audiences to your brand or continue to reinforce your brand on non-search pages across the web. Plus, you have the opportunity to create really enticing design ads that give identity and personality to your brand. Placing your ads on the right combination of websites can help grow your customer base.
So he's exactly right. There are just numerous ways to target audiences on the display network. And one of them we just talked about in the previous section is remarketing, but you can do more than just target audiences who have already been to your site. So we're going to take a look at topic targeting. So this allows you to target groups of websites your customers may be interested in. For example, if your store sells such things relating to cooking or home improvement or fashion, you can target those topics and create specific ads to portray to customers when they browse those type of sites. So you can see some of the images we have in the slide here. If you look at the top left, we have a cooking image. The bottom left, we have a home improvement image. And in the middle there, we have a fashion image. So creating ads like these images is a great way to target many different websites. So that's topic targeting. And then we move on to interest targeting. So interest targeting is similar to topic targeting, but instead of targeting a category of websites, you're actually targeting users based on their interests. And Google gathers those interests based on a user's past online behavior. So you can see here from the graphic again, we do have the top right, there's the fitness image, and then in the bottom right could be a sporting event image. So great images to keep in mind if you're designing ads around these kind of concepts and themes and topics and interests. And finally, we have keyword targeting, or it's, as you can also hear, called contextual targeting. And this allows you to target websites based on the content on that site. So targeting keywords can allow you to show up next to content that is directly related to your store. And as Jacob mentioned, these could be blogs or just tons of other sites that are opted into the display network that have a bunch of content on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do across the display network. And one of the more advanced features, and definitely time-consuming as well, is kind of placement targeting. If you already have a good idea of the sites that your customers are visiting or audiences you want to become your customers, you can manually select those websites if they're opted into the display network, of course, with the placement targeting selection. You can even choose the exact page on the website you want to target. And within AdWords, you do have the option to also target demographics differently. For instance, if you're a store that sells women's makeup, you may consider excluding men from your targeting options, or at least bidding differently from those two options. And any of the above mentioned targeting strategies can be combined. For instance, you may consider targeting based on keywords, contextual targeting, then refining your selection by bidding differently on your demographic options. Continually refining the account and testing new audiences to advertise to with new selections of ads will help you kind of find new profitable audiences across the display network.
And you guys may have seen some Mother's Day ads kind of floating around the internet at the sites you've been browsing. It's kind of that time of year right now, so that would be a popular display ad that you might see. Like we said, it's very seasonal and it's a specific event, so a very good thing to advertise for. And as Jacob mentioned, the placements is also a great thing to do when you're looking for sites to put your ads on. So what we do recommend is when you're in Google AdWords and you're looking at the placements, actually go to the site that you might want to put your ad on and look at it. See how it looks. What's all the content on there? Are there a ton of ads on the page? Is it something you want to put your ad on? So all really good things to consider when you're kind of setting up these display campaigns.
We're seeing a lot of great questions come in. We are going to get to these at the end. And if if anything we cover, you still have a question, please ask away and we'll get to as many of these as we can at the end. Next, we're going to be covering comparison shopping.
So comparison shopping, or Google shopping as you may hear it called, allows you to advertise based on the product description, product name, price, and image of your item. So Google Shopping is one of the newest ways to advertise and has quickly become one of the most successful channels for e-commerce stores. And as you can see in the image here in the slide, the Google Shopping ads display high quality pictures, price for quick comparison, and even take over the top of the search engine results page. And while Google Shopping ads won't always be above the text ads in every search, it's still pretty easy to see why shopping feeds are growing in popularity.
Yeah, like Brian said, shopping feeds are probably the fastest growing channel for e-commerce stores. We see huge success with the clients we work with. In addition to it being so consumer friendly, shopping feeds boast in general lower cost per clicks. And because they are image based, they're great for consumers. The prices are right on the search page, meaning if you're really competitive with your pricing, it's a great channel for you to succeed on. And really this is the best channel for targeting long tail keywords where your customers may be searching for the exact title of your products. And since we're targeting all of your products, each product is its own ad. And another thing, while your final budget may vary depending on your store, we find that a great starting place for the majority of our clients running a shopping feeds campaign is around $300 because it has that little bit lower cost per click most of the time.
Jacob's right, showing those ads for individual products is a great thing about shopping feeds, and you can build out your whole store with a campaign, which is an awesome feature. And we're going to tackle one more of these questions that came in. It asks, do we have to pay more for ad extensions? And the answer is you do not. Those do not incur any additional charges on your ad. It would still be the same thing. All it does is just make your ad look a lot nicer and take up more space and give information. So feel free to add as many ad extensions as you can, and you're not going to be charged extra for those.
All right, so how to get started with Google Shopping. You will need to set up a Google Merchant Center. Google Merchant Center is where you will upload your product data. You will eventually link it to AdWords in Google Merchant Center. And unlike AdWords, there will be an approval period that takes several days. So just be aware that your products will need to be approved, and it can take up to a week on the longer end. And you may have to fix any errors in your data to get that final approval. So when uploading the information to Google Merchant Center, it's important to make sure you have submitted all the correct information. You're going to need to include the basic product information such as ID, title, description, Google product category, product type, link, image link, and price. While this is just some of the basic information required, you're going to want to double check to make sure you meet all of Google's criteria. If you're an apparel store that sells a t-shirt in 4 different colors, you're going to need to make sure you include information for all of the colors you sell. Also, we do have a link to Merchant Center to help you kind of get set up. Not clickable at the moment. It will be once we get it on the Volusion blog, though.
And so there is a lot of information and details of your store that go into the setup of a shopping feeds campaign, but it's all very good stuff. Think of it, the more information you can give to the search engines, the better they can portray your products. So a big part of that shopping campaign is going to be the setup. And then once you get that campaign approved and up and running, you'll want to monitor some initial key metrics, which are your benchmark CPC, your impression share, and the searches that are triggering your ads to show up. So take a little time to read about CPC and impression share in AdWords so you know what those are and how altering your CPC bids will affect your impression share. And as for the searches triggering your ads to show, check through the search term reports on a regular basis to ensure your ads are showing up for the right searches. And additionally, you should also monitor to see what products get the most clicks. So if you see a product getting a lot of clicks, but it's not converting, you may consider excluding that product from your shopping feed.
So why we have been talking about Google Shopping as kind of the main channel, obviously because it is the largest channel. Google is the largest search engine. People are spending most of their time searching on Google, but there are others. Amazon is probably the second largest. Amazon ads show up when users search for related products in the Amazon store, giving you the opportunity to drive the sales from the Amazon store to your store. But there are numerous other shopping channels to advertise on. The benefits of each of these channels is you're going to be targeting people who are a little bit further along in the buying cycle. Whereas someone who may be searching for your product on Google may still be in that research phase, kind of looking around, seeing what's available. Someone who's searching on a channel such as shopping.com are probably looking for the best price or some other benefits such as free shipping to make that final purchase. Now, if you're kind of still considering should you do comparison shopping on one of these channels, you should try to consider these things. Are people searching for the exact products that you carry on your website? Like we used in the examples, the prices do show up on the search engines. So if you have really competitive pricing, it might be a good fit for you. If you're considering advertising all of your products or looking for a way to do this and you carry hundreds and thousands of products, probably going to be a good fit for you too. If you've taken the time and have detailed product descriptions, you're definitely going to want to make sure your products fall within any shopping engine's acceptable items. And if you decide to go with something like Google Shopping, the campaign will ultimately be managed right within AdWords.
So a lot of great features there, and we're going to go ahead and tackle one more of these questions that came in. It says, can you please explain the lack of sales early into an ad campaign? And that's a great question. And what we mean by that is when you initially launch your campaign, you're not going to have any data to really go off of as to what those customers are doing when they get to your site. So you'll build out your campaign, you'll have all the keywords there, and then once that data starts coming in, and you can see, okay, this keyword has a lot of conversions, has a lot of time on site, has a very low bounce rate, then you can start kind of creating more keywords around those successful keywords, and that in turn will help drive sales as the process goes. So you might not see a lot of sales early because you're getting all that data, and then once you start getting the data and then making those changes and optimizing the account, moving forward, that's when you'll start seeing things really pick up. So a great question there. So that kind of covers comparison shopping feeds and everything that goes into that on a lot of the search engines. So we're going to go ahead and dive into Facebook advertising for success. So Facebook gives you numerous ways to advertise. It's the largest and most visited social network online right now with over 1 billion users, so it has a huge reach. And some reports show that people even spend over 40 minutes a day on Facebook. So chances are at some point your customers are clicking around on there. And the great news is that Facebook doesn't just have a huge reach, but it also has amazing targeting features that allow you to really dig in and find the right audience. So with so much user information available, you can go after niche interests or customers that like or interact closely with the things that you sell.
Yeah, so Ryan's right. Facebook is huge. Obviously, people spend a ton of time. Honestly, 40 minutes a day sounds a little bit conservative to me. But if your goal is to track conversions from Facebook while doing Facebook advertising, we recommend you install the Facebook Pixel. This will help you track the conversions your ads are bringing on Facebook. But remember that while Facebook may help you bring in new customers, your goal should be to engage customers and to increase your brand's identity. It is a social network.
That is correct. Branding will be a huge portion on Facebook.
So Facebook has a ton of different types of ads to help you succeed. And when used in combination with the sophisticated targeting system it offers, you're guaranteed to find an ad type that is going to work with your business. We've broken them down into several different goals for you.
So if your goal is to bring traffic and leads for your website, This can be done by using one of the following ad types. So we have a domain ad, a page post link, or a multi-product ad. All of these types of ads are designed to help you advertise on Facebook with the goal of driving traffic from your Facebook page or from Facebook ads to your website. Then we have likes and engagement for your page. This type of post helps boost the amount of page likes for your Facebook page. And the advantage of growing your page likes is that you'll be able to engage fans organically after they like your page. And Facebook gives you a ton of options to help grow your page, and we suggest trying a variety of them to see which one works best for your business.
And the last type of ad available is the visitors for your store or event. These types of ad are great for driving visitors to your physical location. These two types of ads available for this type of promotions are an event and an offer. Just if you have a physical store, some other things to keep in mind as well.
He's exactly right. So if you got events going on, or whatever it may be, great ads to go with there.
So now with all the different types of ads available from Facebook, you still may be wondering where to start. What we recommend is that you first grow your audience. Having a large Facebook audience can help you seem credible, and as we talked about in the last slide, give you more opportunities to engage with your audience organically. And make sure you're targeting the right audience and not just the cheapest audience. You want to find fans who will not only like your page, but like your store as a whole. And after you've grown your audience, you're going to want to try and advertise to the friends of people who have liked your page. Seeing that their friends have liked this page will encourage you to grow within the network of your current audience. This is a great way to start your social strategy and really set you up for success on Facebook. After you've started both of these strategies, you may want to look into more advanced strategies such as Facebook remarketing or the multi-product post. There are, like we said, a lot of different opportunities available for you.
And you guys can see here in the slide, we have a couple different examples of some Facebook ads. We got the video ad over there on the right, and the image ad over there on the left. So you can see the likes and the comments and the shares, as well as just a nice, general theme of what those ads could be and what they could do for your business. And so hopefully at this point, you guys have seen some of the benefits of Facebook advertising, but we did cover a lot of stuff there. So we're going to just go ahead and review those really quickly again. And please keep those questions coming. They're looking great. So Facebook advertising is great for small niche brands or lifestyle brands. So things that people are passionate about, things that they're going to talk about or they're going to want to share on social media. So if you have products that kind of fall into that passionate realm, in the shareable realm, you'll definitely want to try putting some ads on there. And Facebook also allows you to engage with customers and discover new audiences with their extensive targeting and demographic information. And finally, Facebook is the largest social network, and with the amount of time people spend on there, it's definitely a great way to showcase your store and to engage with current and new shoppers. And as we said, 40 minutes, but that might be a little on the low side.
Yeah. All right. And so we've kind of reached the end here. We're going to go over a quick recap of the things we've covered, and then we're going to jump right into, we got a lot of great questions, and we're going to be going into those.
Definitely right. So remember to set realistic expectations and work towards those good customer metrics. We talked about keyword data and bounce rates and time on site. So those are all really important things to look at. Google Analytics has a lot of other stuff in there as well that you want to look at. And achieving those good numbers that we talked about really helps set the foundation for sales. And also remember to structure your paid search or PPC accounts like we showed in our Nike shoe graphic. So go back and look at that slide when you guys have a chance. It's really a good structure to look at. And you're going to keep your campaigns and ad groups and keywords very specific and organized. It will help you ensure that you bring the most qualified customers to your site.
And then we went through marketing and how that can drive customers back to your site, make sure to consider the different, how long you're targeting your customers for on that remarketing channel. We kind of went over that in one of the questions we answered. We walked through the display network and kind of, the huge opportunities it offers and the different types of targeting behaviors available on there. We walked through Google Shopping and how it's one of, e-commerce's fastest growing channels and how you can kind of get set up on that. And last, we went through Facebook advertising, the different types of posts available, and some good strategies to start to increase your presence in sales on that channel. Additionally, we have included some additional resources for you to.
Yeah, you guys can take a look at these at your convenience. If you have some free time. We did talk about Google Analytics a lot in this webinar, so we have posted a link to the Google Analytics webinar itself, and there's a lot of information there if you guys are interested. There's also a mini webinar about why you'd want to pay for traffic to your online store. So this sort of breaks down a lot more of the stuff we've been talking about in this webinar. We also have the PPC advertising tips for local businesses. So if you're a brick and mortar store, or if you want your online store to focus on just select areas or cities or zip codes within a city, you can do that. So that's a good reference there. Also, we have the Google ad ranking factors you can and can't control. So this has information about shopping feeds, really great reference. And finally, at the bottom there, we have the Google AdWords help article. This is from Google itself and has a lot of information about just the AdWords platform in general. If you're new to the whole thing, want to read about it and learn about it, take a look at some of the literature there.
All right, and one final thing, we are part of Volusion's in-house client services team, and this month our team is running a promotion for PPC and shopping feeds during the month of May. You get a free setup if you buy a 3-month service. We have the information if you'd like to contact our sales reps. And we're going to jump right into some of these questions here. This is a really great question. Which Google advertising channel would you recommend that would be the lowest cost to get one's feet wet? Now, this might not be the lowest cost, but this is what I would recommend to get the most out of your money, is to start a search campaign with a very specific area of your website. You could do something across the remarketing channel, which would be a little bit lower cost, but I think running a search campaign for your highest profitable items with a very specific set of keywords is going to kind of be the best starting point for you, and is really where we work with our clients who are starting paid strategies for the first time. So looking at the search network, taking the most specific area of your website that you'd like to target and looking at which items are your kind of highest margin, highest profitable, top sellers, and taking that into consideration.
And we have another question here. So it says, what exactly do you mean by a non-qualified customer? And so what we mean by this is this could be someone searching for a very a less specific type thing for your store. So they may be looking for reviews of a product or used items. So by tailoring your keywords directly to your products, you can really control that. So you want to make sure that you don't have keywords that can bring in those searches for people looking for coupon codes or reviews or stuff that you don't necessarily offer. So you want to really make sure that you're targeting those exact keywords, and as Jacob mentioned, those match types. Exact match would be a good way to prevent those type of searches from coming in. So by having exact match keywords, they really tailor to the products of your site. That's a good way to ensure that you're bringing in quality customers.
And another way to expand on that would be to take a look at, kind of what we went over in the beginning. In Google Analytics, if you have everything linked up, you're going to be able to see the time on site that those keywords are bringing in. So you could take a look and see, oh, this keyword, people are getting to my site and they're only spending 15 seconds there. That's probably, even though it might be closely related, it might not be the best customer actually. So that's kind of what we would look at when we were optimizing an account, look at time on site, and look for the customers that are interacting with your site more, and those are going to be your higher qualified customers.
Exactly right. Analytics has a ton of data. There's also a question here about Google AdWords versus AdWords Express and the differences between those two, best way to choose. So with Google AdWords, you're going to get the most control. AdWords Express is, you kind of set it up and it's sort of just on its own. It kind of runs. You really don't have as much control there as you would by setting up your own AdWords account that's not Express related. So good question there. That's pretty much the difference between the two regarding those two things.
We see a question, do you recommend using the conversion optimizer? This is a yes, but answer. So yes, we do. Once you've kind of been running your AdWords accounts for maybe a long time and you have established conversion data. So the conversion optimizer is great really if you're driving about 100 conversions a month, would you say, Ryan?
Yeah, that's a pretty good amount.
Yeah, so that way at 100 conversions a month, you could set a campaign and you have multiple months of 100 conversions and see that your average cost per conversion was $17. So you may set the conversion optimizer for that campaign at $17. and then Google will kind of optimize for that continuously for you, giving you a little bit more kind of flexibility to have a more hands-off approach. However, if you do not have that 100 conversions, or if you're just getting set up on an AdWords account, we don't recommend using the conversion optimizer. It is a little bit more advanced strategy, and definitely something to be aware of as you grow your AdWords or account.
Definitely correct. You're going to want to have a lot of conversions come in before you use that feature. They're kind of waving us down here. We got only a couple minutes left, so we're going to try to tackle one or two more of these. We have, how much does remarketing cost? It's a good question, and as we mentioned, your budget is very flexible, so you can really control how much you want to spend. And as to how much it's going to cost, it really varies on a per industry basis. It matters how competitive your industry is, how many people are bidding on the keywords that you're bidding on. So a great question, but it requires a little research. But in general, just the main takeaway is you can control how much you want to spend, so you're not locked into an amount.
And we'll go with this last question. Can we do these paid ads ourselves, or is it too complicated? I'm going to say yes, you can, and especially if you've listened to this webinar, you're going to be a lot better, ahead of some people who haven't, or haven't really kind of educated themselves. A lot of our customers do run paid advertising campaigns themselves. Obviously, having a professional involved, there are things that, we do this on a day in, day out basis. So it's really going to be, if you can make that investment, we always recommend working with a professional, because we do things at kind of a really high level and can spend as much time in an account as we need. And we have a whole team of people who are paid search certified and all things. But definitely a lot of people do run it themselves and have a lot of success. So.
Very true, and thank you guys again for tuning in. It is Mother's Day this weekend, so please, sons and daughters out there, everybody, thank your mothers, show them your appreciation, and thank you guys again for tuning in.
You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.